So if you grew up with childhood trauma for any reason, and there are tons of reasons, right? There's not one thing only that causes trauma. But if you grew up in an environment that was too much for you, things were too overwhelming, or you had no support for any of those reasons, then you probably grew up with the fawn trauma response hardwired into your nervous system. And the fawn trauma response is the only hybrid trauma response where it's two things happening at the same time. It's partial freeze, freeze how you really feel, freeze your feelings, freeze your perspectives, freeze your body. Don't move, right? Don't take up space. Combined with socially engage in a way that makes other people happy. So you may have grown up accommodating everyone else, placating everyone else, making other people feel happy, oblivious to what was going on inside of you because your focus was completely on the external. You may have even thought, well, this is who I am. This is my personality. I just care so much about people. I do everything to make other people happy. And I remember when I was really young, I was probably maybe 20, 21 years old. And somebody asked a friend of mine, like, what do you like about Michele? And her response was, she works so hard to make everyone happy. And at the time I was like, oh, that's me. That's who I am. Now I realize, I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, that was out of trauma. And so then you get to that place where you start to heal and you're like, okay, well, am I nice? Do I like to make other people happy? What is me and what is the fawn response? Well, I want to explain how you can start deciphering what is part of your authentic self when you're being nice and what is part of the fawn trauma response. So when it comes to any trauma response, whether that's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, our trauma responses are reflexive. They are compulsive. There's no choice. And when I was really digesting this for the first time, I started to realize that in one thing that I would do a lot with people, where I would look for something I liked about them. So it was part authenticity, right? I would find something I liked, but then I had this compulsion to have to tell them, to compliment them. And there was like this desperate energy to it. Almost like there was this piece inside of me grabbing me by the shirt saying, give them a compliment, tell them they look nice. And that impulse inside that you feel, that's the activation from an unhealed story. And my unhealed story in childhood was, if I don't make them feel good, they're unstable, they're going to blow up, I'm going to be attacked, I'm not safe, right? And it was showing up in my present day life, even though the circumstances had changed. So when you want to work through this, you want to start looking for that activation, that almost like a button gets switched inside of you and you feel your body pushing you to be nice or to placate. The second thing you want to do is uncover that story. Like, why is that there? What did your body learn when you were a child that is still alive and present in your body? And then the way you want to break out of it is by starting to give your body choices. Trauma steals our choices. That compulsion comes up. I'm complimenting. Half the time when I was in a fawn trauma response, part of me was watching like, what are you doing? Can we like, please bring all of these words back? Even if they were true, there was a piece of me that knew this is coming from a place not of authenticity, but out of safety and protection. And so we begin giving that choice back by being able to notice it, being able to build capacity to be with that activation in your body, which, by the way, you have to build the capacity for. Because the second your body notices that activation to your body, it time travels back to your most traumatic events when the story first occurred. And that's what flips you into a trauma response. And so we have to build the capacity to be with activation. Once we can do that, we can then introduce choice. Do I really want to compliment this person? Or whatever it is you're falling into when it comes to people pleasing. Do I really want to say yes to what they're asking me? Am I really in agreement with their perspective? You start giving yourself the opportunity to have choice. And then it's rinse and repeat. Through repetition, our nervous system gets rewired.